Stugotz here. You may have heard of a COO by the name of Dylan Miskowitz. He's a real business owner who struggled with finding the right fit for his director of coffee role until he turned to ZipRecruiter. Well, a lot has happened since he made his first hire with ZipRecruiter. His organic coffee business, Cafe Altura, grew. Cafe Altura's distribution increased, and they expanded their product offerings. Cafe Altura grew so much that Dylan had to hire a junior roaster and a second director of coffee. How? Once again, through ZipRecruiter. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. While Dylan was busy managing his booming business and signing autographs, ZipRecruiter did the work for him. Its matching technology found people with the right skills and experience and actively invited them to apply. In fact, 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself how ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier, from coffee roaster to construction worker to CMO. To try ZipRecruiter for free, simple. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. That's ZipRecruiter.com/DAN. ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. The Dan Le Batard with Stugotz Show podcast is presented by Capital One. This is Banking Reimagined.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
There are bigger problems in the world, but yesterday I was super frustrated because our show didn't have the chemistry and the interactions that we normally have. We're usually able to talk to each other. And so it was me, Stugotz, Mike Ryan, and then Chris on a bad phone line, and you couldn't hear Roy right. But we have just had shipped in modern day 2020 technology that allows me to now see the shipping containers, see everyone we're doing the show with, and give them the news, Stugotz, that Tom Brady is no longer going to be a Patriot.
Guys, the dynasty is over. I am a Jets fan. You are Dolphin fans. Tom Brady is no longer inside the AFC East. Or is he? We have no idea. But today is a day of celebration. The dynasty is over. It is over! Yeah. I've been asking for Brady and Belichick to get out of my life for a decade and a half, and Brady is finally out of my life, I think. It's a weird celebration.
Billy, you're not on television. You're on the radio, so people can't hear you as you wave your hands around there. Thank you for your contributions to everybody celebrating that Tom Brady is now no longer going to be a Patriot. He has gone to Instagram, and he has said the following, and this is, 20 years in the making. To all my teammates, coaches, executives, and staff, Coach Belichick, RKK, and the Kraft family, and the entire organization, I want to say thank you for the past 20 years of my life and the daily commitment to winning and creating a winning culture built on great values. I'm grateful for all that you have taught me. I've learned from everyone. You all have allowed me to maximize my potential, and that is all a player can ever hope for. Everything we have accomplished brings me great joy, and the lessons I learned will carry on with me forever. Couldn't be the man I am today without the relationships you have allowed me to build with you. I've benefited from all you have given me. I cherished every opportunity I had to be a part of our team, and I love you all for that. Our team has always set a great standard in pro sports, and I know it will continue to do just that. Although my football journey will take place elsewhere, I appreciate everything that we have achieved, and I'm grateful for our incredible team accomplishments. I've been privileged to have had the opportunity to know each other and every one of you, and to have the memories we've created together. Bob Kraft says that Tom Brady is like a son to him, that they talked last night. And now, what's it going to be, guys? Is it going to be Tampa Bay, Stugotz? Is it going to be Los Angeles, the Chargers?
I think most people feel like it's probably going to be the Chargers who, it's funny. Rex Ryan said they were the best team in the NFL 2 years ago. They were 12-4 2 years ago. So there's a lot of talent on that team. They had a lot of injuries last year. I have a sneaky, weird feeling, Dan, that he is going to come down to Miami and play for the Dolphins. I know people are saying Bucks. I know people are talking about Bruce Arians and that connection. But Adam Schefter has said a couple of times in the last few days that he's heard some stuff about the Dolphins. And so that would not surprise me, because it's a perfect situation from this standpoint. They're likely going to draft Tua, and Tua's likely not going to be ready. And Tom Brady is familiar with Brian Flores. And Flores just basically signed the entire Patriots defense yesterday. And so I think Tom Brady, there's a realistic chance that he ends up down here in Miami and plays quarterback for 2 years, and they allow Tua to learn from the greatest quarterback who's ever lived. I think that's a reality. I really do.
That sounds like a Brady hunch to me. That sounds like a very strong Brady hunch, not a reality, just a Brady hunch. That's all that's in play there. But the Dolphins yesterday, came out of the box spending money all over the place because they have a lot of money to spend. And a lot of people like those moves, but I don't understand how you can measure whether Eric Flowers is a good signing or not when that guy had a season where, he allowed 169 pressures and then they move him over to guard. I don't know how to do the measurements on some of what the Dolphins did, but what you're saying makes sense. What you're saying is something that it looks like the Dolphins were getting in play. If they already did this with Ryan Fitzpatrick rather,
yeah, good save.
Why wouldn't they go this route?
No, I think it's a perfectly reasonable route to go. And so, plus I think Tom Brady thinks the winning goes where he goes. So, he leaves New England, stays inside the AFC East, can still stick it to Belichick. I'm not certain the Dolphins don't become the best team. Well, I guess the Bills with the moves they made yesterday with Stephon Diggs. There's so much happening here with the NFL. But I think Brady kind of views it like this, Dan. The winning goes where I go. Not where Belichick goes. It goes where I go. And if I go to Miami, Miami's going to be the favorites to win the AFC East. So.
Well, the Bills and the Dolphins both behaved yesterday like they saw weakness in the Patriots for the first time in 20 years. I think a lot of people would probably still expect the Patriots to go to 11-5. I just like the back and forth bleep you of Brady saying, look, I'll do it with the Dolphins in your division, and Belichick saying, watch me do it with Andy Dalton.
Like if the Patriots line up with the red rifle with Andy Dalton,
what could Belichick do? What's the thing that Belichick could do to most show? Like if this is an ego war between the two of them, who's responsible for the winning? Andy Dalton would be a pretty good place for Belichick to start.
Dalton, Jacoby Brissett, I guess. But no, Dalton, I think Dalton would be the perfect guy to go to. But who would you be, Dan, you'd be rooting for the Patriots, right? You'd be rooting for Belichick to get it done with Andy Dalton, correct?
Why the hell would I ever root for the Patriots? They've done enough winning. Why would I root for the Patriots under any circumstances?
I'm just saying, if you had to choose one of those two teams to win that division, it is now Brady with the Dolphins trying to stick it to Belichick and Belichick trying to stick it to Brady by going with Andy Dalton. I think I'd even be rooting for the Patriots in that scenario. It'd be funny if Belichick got it done with Andy Dalton.
The reports are that Tampa Bay has made a significant offer and that the Chargers have made a significant offer. And Jeff Darlington gets to be right. Are we going to get a hold of Jeff Darlington to find out? We've lost this bet. He said he would be shot. Look, Chris Cote is hiding from me and... are we going to get a situation where Jeff Darlington is going to tase one of us or give one of us the stone cold stunner?
Well, I think he's already won the bet. Brady announced that he's leaving, and that was the bet. He gets to stun or shock one of us. I'm just hoping that he chooses you.
What's with the one of us stuff? It was all Chris Cote's idea. Chris is the obvious target there.
I have in front of me, Jeff Darlington is taking a bit of a victory lap. He did just sign off. Jeff Darlington is taking a bit of a victory lap. He posted a video saying it's not simply therapeutic for him, which it is, but also because I think you can now watch with a more open mind to learn and understand how Tom Brady got to this moment. And a guy wrote in, Jeff, don't take this the wrong way, but posting a 5-minute clip fest of you gabbing across ESPN platforms about Brady just because it proves you were right is navel-gazing, look at me nonsense to the highest degree. And Darlington comes back with, after the accusatory nonsense I've heard from Patriot fans and Boston media over the last month, you're damn right. Accurate reporting matters to me. Being credible matters to me. Now on to the next chapter in this story. Moving on. Jeff Darlington doing a little mic dropping here on everybody.
I'm so proud of him. I've never been prouder of him. This is the way journalism should be, Dan. Celebrate the ones you get right and just move past the ones you don't get right. Because I'm certain Darlington has a number of those.
Does he?
Unnecessary shot at Jeff Darlington.
I don't feel like Darlington has a number of those. I don't think that's fair.
We all got him, Dano. I mean,
no, Darlington doesn't have any of those. Darlington, you just took a shot at a totally credible reporter after he got the story right. But he didn't do the most mic dropping among reporters yesterday. Look at this guy. John Krasinski, senior writer for The Athletic. He covers the T-Wolves and the Vikings. And listen to this flex. I wrote about the Vikings possibly trading Diggs in January, and it was called clickbait. I wrote about the Wolves trading for D'Angelo Russell, and it was called clickbait. I don't write clickbait. So we made fun of Daniel Snyder for years for trying to win free agency on the first day, and there are reports now that he was going after Amari Cooper yesterday and that they offered more than Dallas did. Dallas gets him back for $100 million. But I'm curious, Stugotz, was it only bad teams yesterday that won free agency? Like, was it only Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Bears, Cowboys, non-playoff teams? Like, were there who were the good teams that partook in what we saw yesterday, that frenzy that you love every year?
Well, I think it was a trade, not free agency, but I think the Buffalo Bills, who are a good team and probably, depending on where Brady goes, the favorites to win the AFC East now. This is insane what's going on here. Getting Stephon Diggs, even while giving up a first round pick, I think that's one of the good teams that got better yesterday. Do they have a quarterback?
Do the Bills have a quarterback? Yes or no?
I mean, they have Josh Allen. I don't know if he's, is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? I think with the right team around him, he's good enough to win a Super Bowl.
In the playoff game I watched last year, as it was winning time at the end and they coughed up a 16-point lead, he went 50 yards backward. I don't know if that team has a quarterback. I know they're building around him. And I know that's why they're going after Stephon Diggs, or they got Stephon Diggs, but you don't know that they have a quarterback. I don't know that they have a quarterback. They don't know that they have a quarterback.
They have a quarterback that got a lot better from year one to year two. So we'll see if he continues to develop. But I mean, Dan, I think the thing that was unexpected with Josh Allen was his ability to run. Can he limit the turnovers, and can he continue to develop as a passer in the NFL? I have no idea, but that team, right, has to be the favorites now in the AFC East.
But that's what I'm making fun of you about. Can he develop into a passer? I don't know. Make them the favorites. Like, those thoughts together are funny. They're a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. Like, they don't have a quarterback.
Maybe they'll get Brady. I mean,
well, let's start. Let's go to Bristol and see what they have in terms of Chris Cote's crappy imaging. So we go around the room here and start the speculation, because Brady has been a gift here in the zombie apocalypse that is sports. Let's go ahead, Bristol. Play that crappy production. As a tribute to your lack of consistency, Stugotz, I think it'd be pretty funny if you just went Bills here. After going Dolphins in the first segment, now you go Bills. He's going to the Bills. What's your Brady hunch?
Whatever you want, Dan. I will do whatever it is that you want. I was gonna connect the Brady and the Dolphins through Stephen Ross by both of them going to Michigan, but I think you're right. This is a better lane for me to choose. The Buffalo Bills, who have a great defense, not a good defense, a great defense, and they gave the Patriots and Tom Brady fits last year. Okay, Brady has not announced where he's going to play. He has only announced that he is not going to play in New England.
Why didn't you finish the thought I'm telling you? You just stopped right in the middle.
Dan, we are bouncing around here. It is the Brady hunch, and that's what we do. Sometimes we don't finish thoughts. It is a family trait, okay? And what I am telling you is I think with the Bills, who are a quarterback away, because we have no idea, even though I just made an argument for him, if Josh Allen is going to be a good quarterback and can lead a team to win a Super Bowl, I have a hunch that Tom Brady today is going to stay inside the AFC East and going to sign with the Buffalo Bills. How about that? Tony, do you have a hunch today, Tony?
Boys, I got a hunch. And as any good Bostonian retires into South Florida, maybe Brady's feeling a little bit more northwest Florida. I'm feeling a hunch of him joining forces with Mike Evans, with some of the boys out in Tampa. That's my hunch today. The Bucks.
All right, the Buccaneers for Tony. Billy, do you have a hunch today? Little Brady hunch.
I do have a hunch today. I'm not 100% convinced that he's done with the Patriots yet. Yeah. Classic leverage. You say goodbye to the Patriots. You light a little fire under their feet. They say, you know what? We disrespected Tommy. We don't want to lose him. He hasn't signed with anyone else. We'll give him whatever he wants. My hunch is he may go back to the Patriots.
All right, I have him going to the Bills, even though I thought he was going to the Dolphins. Tony has him going to the Bucs. Billy has him staying with the Patriots. Chris Cote, do you have a Brady hunch today?
I was thinking the Dolphins, but wow, Billy just hit the nail on the head. He's going back to the Pats.
Okay, very good. Billy also said put a fire under his feet. Is that a saying? Put a fire under his feet?
Oh, yeah, you light the coals under the feet, Dan. That's how you run across hot coals.
Roy, what is your Brady hunch, Roy? No, we can't hear Roy. Roy is muted. Roy was his big chance. Let's go to commercial.
Roy did it.
I did it.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. All guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Bob Ryan going to join us in just a minute here. Jeff Darlington going to gloat at 11 a.m. Eastern. Here's your SportsCenter update. Tom Brady has announced on Instagram that he is leaving the New England Patriots. Amari Cooper will sign a 5-year, $100 million deal with the Cowboys with $60 million guaranteed. Marcus Mariota will sign with the Raiders. The Falcons cut Devonta Freeman. He had 3 years remaining on his deal. And finally, firefighters in England were called in to deal with a fire after a pig sparked a blaze in its pen by swallowing a pedometer, which then combusted after, quote, nature had taken its course. The firefighters believed the copper from the pedometer's batteries reacted to the pig's excrement and dry hay to ignite the fire. Here's the SelectQuote difference. Most companies give you one option, one policy, one rate, but SelectQuote shops and could get you up to 10 options from highly rated life insurance companies for a free personalized quote. Call 800-780-1010 or go to SelectQuote.com today. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Stephen A. Smith just said that Robert Kraft called him during the last commercial break and said something along the lines, and there's been a statement put out, but to be very clear, if Tom Brady wanted to stay, we would have worked it out, and he would have remained a New England Patriot. But Tom Brady wanted to leave, and there's no good way to do this. There's no good way to do these endings. Bob Ryan of the Boston Globe is with us on ESPN Radio. Bob, what can you tell us about what you believe to be the truth here? Is what Stephen A. Smith is saying Bob Kraft told him, is that the truth? Because it's felt to me for a while like Bob Kraft has wanted it known, hey, this isn't going to be my fault if he leaves.
I think we've all one of the aspects of this story, there are three parties involved, Brady, Belichick, and Kraft. One of the aspects of this story was that we the media, the fans, believed that Bob Kraft did not want the blood on his hands, metaphorically speaking. So no question, he will go out of his way now to say, it wasn't me, Tom just wants to go. So that's A. B is Belichick clearly, if he insisted that Tom Brady would be his quarterback next year, there would have been certainly a difference in the way Tom Brady thinks. And third, whatever Tom Brady wants to do in general, over and above playing football, I think this move is a part of a vaster plan, a life plan that includes playing a little more football and then moving to the next phase for him. That's what I think. There's three moving parts here. Let me just say and go back to the Garoppolo trade. It was abundantly clear here that Belichick was willing to cut this cord with Brady 3 years ago. He was going to go with Garoppolo. It was no problem. He did not want to make that trade. And he made that trade in haste, which he never does, sent him to a good sanctuary. He didn't exile him to some football Siberia. Sent him to a good place with a coach he liked, and took 70 cents on the dollar in return, and did not get as much for him as he should have. He was willing to cut the cord right then and there. And one more thing, and I'll shut up. Remember that interview that Brady gave, and he was asked, do you feel respected? And he said, I'll plead the fifth. That was telling, and now we see the final outcome.
Who's disrespected him? What is the relationship with Belichick and Brady?
I think it's very professional, and I think that Belichick will give us now all the lip service about the gratitude he has for what Tom did for these 20 years, and so forth. I don't think it was professional. I don't think there was, for whatever reason, we don't know how they interacted, and we don't know how Tom, maybe there were things said to him that he didn't like, or things not said to him that he wanted to hear, whatever. I think, I felt now, as this thing has unfolded over the last couple of years, that it was a professional relationship, and there weren't going to be any Christmas cards when it was all over.
Bob, how do you think, what's been the reaction of Patriot fans thus far, and how do you think they're going to react to Tom Brady, especially if he decides to stay inside the AFC East to play for one of those teams?
That will be interesting. First of all, I can't answer the first part since I'm sitting in my house as everybody else is, and therefore I don't know what the reaction is. I did turn over a little bit of talk radio this morning, but all I heard was the hosts. I didn't hear anything from the fans. I think people have been bracing themselves for this. I don't think that people who have been paying attention are going to be shocked. I think now you exhale. If you really wanted to keep him, sure, you were hoping against hope that it would all work out, that you'd have Tom Brady next year, he'd retire as a Patriot and with the proper acclaim, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you can take a deep, you can exhale. It's not going to happen that way. So move on. I think a lot of people prepared themselves mentally. With a lot of talk about here. Well, if he goes, what's the disposition? Is it Stidham? Is it Jarrett Stidham? Are they going to draft a quarterback in the first round, which I suspect with 2 picks they very well may? Will they go out and get a veteran quarterback? Everybody from the pie in the sky that they're never going to get Teddy Bridgewater to Phillip Rivers to whoever. I don't know what they're going to do. People have been talking about this. We've been preparing ourselves for this. Really, it's not as if it came absolutely out of nowhere.
How much does ego have to do with what's happening here, Bob?
Well, it's always, obviously you have two, get 3 monumental egos, really, because believe me, Bob Kraft wants to be thought of as the greatest owner who's ever lived. He's got an ego. Belichick clearly has an ego, and he deserves to manifest an ego, and Brady deserves to manifest an ego. It's always going to be a situation, but once again, until we see how this unfolds with Brady, to see where he goes, and then we start then trying to interpret what does that mean? Why did he pick this team over that team? Was it strictly football? What's going on here? We don't have the answers to this. But clearly we're talking about 3 massive egos in a sense. Brady has always managed to submerge it in the interest of this team. I heard a good interview with Rob Ninkovich this morning talking about what a phenomenal teammate, humble. He used the word humble about 9 times. Humble, given the stratosphere that he occupies. He said he's like an alien. He's so far above us, yet he interacted with us as in his own way, and he was so humble. Blah blah blah. You're gonna, he had an ego. Yeah, of course.
Bob Ryan, Boston Globe, with us. Can you explain to us salary cap sport? Tom Brady obviously has taken a lot of discounts over the years. Like, how bothered is he that the Patriots didn't make him feel more wanted, and how right and how human is it to be bothered by that?
Ben Volen of the Globe annotated in the Sunday paper 10 times contracts were up that he took something for the team, in a sense. Now, people will argue, well, no, it was only common sense, but we're not sure that everybody else would have done it to the extent that he did it. And maybe this is what led to the I plead the fifth answer to the question about do you feel sufficiently respected in this organization. That was an amazingly telling answer, and I think, and he never elaborated on it and publicly that I know of, but it stood for it and spoke for itself. Yeah, I think he felt that there was, this past year, I think he was very upset about the weaponry. He did a lack of same. At one point in the season, he actually had Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon to throw to, and I'm not defending the keeping them in there, by the way, myself, but I'm saying that he had them. Brown caught a touchdown pass. He might have had a big year here, but we all know he's Antonio Brown, and blah blah blah. We all know that answer. So he was stuck with. In the end, he had an injured Edelman and James White coming out of the backfield. He had no tight end all year. They being Belichick, did not sufficiently address that situation at all, and that kind of really frustrate Tom. There's a major weapon that's not even available to him. I think he was very upset about that, and it has to play into what's going on here.
Bob, where do you see Brady kind of finishing out the career here? You talked about, life plans, and this is maybe bigger than football for him. So he's got a couple of years left. Where can you see him and his family playing out the end of his career?
That's a good question, Stugotz, because, the logical answer would have been Los Angeles if he's not going to, since he was never going to go to the Jets or the Giants. So Los Angeles, had the Chargers been available, maybe, but the Rams don't need him, but that would have been one. Las Vegas, maybe, except maybe still may happen there. Tampa, they're talking about. I can't see how Tampa Bay, no offense to the people of Tampa, St. Pete, and Bradenton and all that, but come on, that's not exactly a mecca for the kind of commerce that I think that Tom Brady has in mind. I don't know, but there's some. I'm just saying this. I don't know what it is, but I believe in his mind, and who says he's going to successfully execute it, there is some master plan in Tom Brady's mind. Keep in mind he's got this TB12 thing going on, and I think that's the generality of it, is that he's going to want to be this guru to people in his mind for the rest of his life. That's going to be his life's calling, I think. So however it's going to manifest itself, ultimately, I don't know.
Is Bob Ryan willing to make Tom Brady the greatest winner in Boston sports history over Bill Russell? Is he willing to do it?
Scared.
Is he willing to do it? Is he willing?
Sum it up. This city is so ridiculously blessed and so unbelievably unfairly compared to the rest of you poor people and all these outlying areas like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Miami, and Dallas, and so forth, that aren't us, that haven't had this incredible bounty of having Bill Russell, Bobby Orr, Larry Bird, and now Tom Brady, etc. Bill Russell, let me just put this thing to rest, okay? From 1955 to 1969, Bill Russell competed for 16 championships, 2 NCAAs, and Olympics, and 13 NBA championships. His teams won 14 of those, in which he was the primary player in every one of them. And the 15th, 1958, he was injured, or they beat the St. Louis Hawks. Sorry, St. Louis. Sorry, Bob Pettit, who got 50 points in Game 6 and in order to beat the Celtics by 2 when Russell was hurt. So there's nobody ever in American team sports who has a resume even close to it. Forgot about it. Everybody else is tied for second place in that regard. Brady, though, in Boston comes in second. Yes.
You're the best. Thank you, Bob. Good talking to you. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. If you missed any of our interviews, check them out on demand in the Dan Le Batard Show podcast, brought to you by Capital One. Why settle for average with Capital One? You can open a savings account where they rate 5 times the national average. Capital One. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet? Capital One N.A., member FDIC. Greg Cote going to join us in just a second here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Greg Cote giving us the Straight Talk is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less, only at Walmart.
Want to apologize to the audience. All of us are in a little bit of uncomfortable situations, a lot of moving parts. We're all doing the show remotely here, and some mistakes are going to get made, and we're going to stumble around. I missed a live read that I was supposed to have for one of our sponsors earlier in the show, Casper Mattresses. We've told you before, we all have the Casper Mattresses. Stugotz, tell them why.
Yep, we've all heard of Casper, the sleep company with outrageously comfortable products at not so outrageous prices. And with their current end-of-season clearance, you could save up to 20% on the mattress of your dreams. Save up to 20% on mattresses now through March 23rd, 2020. Offer expires March 23rd, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. Save 10% off the Essential, 20% off the Casper and the Wave. Limit 1 offer per customer and order. Additional shipping fees may apply for Hawaii and Alaska. Please see Casper.com/terms for additional terms and conditions.
We will figure this out in the coming weeks. There is a lot of unrest, obviously, and a radio show is not the most important thing going on, but allow us a few days of mistakes here as we try to figure some of this stuff out. Jeff Darlington is going to be on with us. Yeah, perfect. Jeff Darlington's going to be on with us in about 10 minutes, and we're going to find out what, we told him. We have a bet with Darlington. He said he would be shocked and stunned if Tom Brady returned to the Patriots. Tom Brady's not returning to the Patriots, and the bet was he gets to shock or stun one of us. We will find out who he decides to shock or stun with either a taser if we could get it past human resources, or just the stone cold stunner. Chris Cote is very afraid. Greg Cote, his father, the host of the Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote, it's a podcast that is now in its third week. We're all a little worried about Greg. The Dolphins seem to have won the first day of free agency here, and we'll get to that with Homer Cote in a second. But the first thing I want to know is, are you okay? Like, you've been coughing and had respiratory issues for the better part of 18 months. So, like, is everything okay with you? Are you quarantined and you're staying away from other people?
Yeah, I'm doing the social distancing thing, the self-quarantining thing. I rarely leave my house for the past few days, and we'll try to keep that up. I'm fine. I'm totally over the coughing thing, and my voice is still a little hoarse for some reason, but I feel great. Yeah, I'm doing well.
The listeners are worried about you.
Thanks for the podcast plug, by the way. I appreciate that. We're excited about it. You can get it on Apple, Spotify, MiamiHerald.com, wherever you get your podcast. Read, review, and subscrib. Rate, not read.
You're going to keep going on that?
You're doing the podcast because they're not reading you anymore.
Why are you being so mean to people today?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, Stugotz is very mean. It's because he's remote. You know, nobody's there to punch him, so he can be mean.
Can Homer Cote pull out the pom-poms and root for the idea that Tom Brady might be coming to the Dolphins? Because Stugotz is theorizing Tua sits for a while. Already Flores, the Patriots coach, got the Patriots defense, got a bunch of players. Are you buying on that at all?
Well, I actually wrote a column like a month or more ago about the dream ticket, which would be Tua and Brady. You know, Brady for a year or two while they groom Tua, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to stay in the AFC East. The Tampa Bay Bucks to me seem like a reasonable landing spot. It's pretty clear to me that he has a landing spot arranged, or else he wouldn't have revealed that he's not coming back.
But wouldn't the
Doesn't that
moves
make
of
sense?
yesterday, if the Dolphins, wouldn't the moves of yesterday, if there was something arranged, wouldn't it look a little bit like what the Dolphins were doing yesterday?
About trying to get good quick by spending a lot of money. First of all, I'm not sure the Dolphins did all that much yesterday. I was interested to read on ESPN, some grades of all the moves, and I don't think any of the four Dolphin signings got better than a C+ grade. I mean, there are drawbacks to each. The cornerback they got is really good. He also has 2 interceptions in 5 seasons. So I don't know that they've become a big contender by what they did yesterday, but it was a very active day. They have a lot of money to spend, and they're certainly willing to spend it, and they prove that.